The shaky head will catch every fish in the lake at some point in time. If they're pressured and they won't bite anything else, you've just got to find a better area to throw it where big fish live. I can't tell you where that is. Nobody can tell you where that is. That's stuff you have to spend time on the water figuring out through process of elimination, because it changes day in and day out. One scenario I'll give you a couple of years ago, well, 2017 at Lake Travis, we had a FLW tour event there, our second event of the year. It was in March. I ended up finishing second in the event, but the first day of the tournament, I weighed in almost 25 pounds and had about a 10-pound lead. And everybody was just, minds blown, like, oh my God, he's got 25 pounds on this lake, and it's 10 pounds is a good bag. So the way I did that, I caught all 5 of them on a shaky head. I caught 2 of them on the 4-inch baby bass stinger, and I caught 3 of them on the Zoom trick worm. But it was by accident, somewhat. Let me explain this. So I'd found a ledge fish were using in practice, and I'd had 4 bites on a jig on it. I'd caught 1 3-pounder and 1 2-pounder and a couple of keepers. So it wasn't like my go-to spot. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't in my mind like it blast off, I'm racing to it, I've got to go hit this one spot. It was just somewhere I knew I could possibly get a bite. So fast forward 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning, I don't have a keeper in the boat, and I make my way to this little ledge, and I'd caught them on a jig there in practice. 15-pound line, half-ounce jig, you know, Demiki knockout trailer, just normal fishing. But that was in practice before 200 boats had practiced for 3 days and beat the lake up, before the fish had seen all this pressure. So I go down this ledge with that half-ounce jig, and I catch 1 barely keeper. I was like, all right, well, I got 1, that's good. And for something, I can't tell you what reason, but something said, you know, maybe you ought to pick up a shaky head and go back down through it and throw the shaky head just to see, because, you know, I'd gotten 4 bites there in practice, but only 1 during the event. So I pick up my shaky head here, my 4-inch stinger, and the ledge is maybe 100 yards long. Well, about 50 yards into it, I've got a 7-pounder, I've got a 6-pounder, I've got a 4-pounder, and I've made about 20 casts with this shaky head on a ledge that I just threw a jig, spent 30, 40 minutes throwing a jig down. So I completely fished over those fish with that jig. They would not touch it. Went back over the same area with a shaky head and caught 25 pounds. So whenever you pick up a shaky head and you feel like you're fishing for little ones, that is not the case at all. A shaky head simply catches what's there. So you've got to, you know, reevaluate your pattern and maybe try to figure out what those big fish are doing. Those shaky head will put them in the boat for you. Definitely get you more bites, but you can't be content with getting bites on a shaky head. You've got to fish it just like you would anything else. If you were practicing for an event and you were fishing boat docks with a jig, and say you had 15 bites on docks and they were all 1.5 to 2 pounders, you're going to say, man, I know they're biting this jig, I just need to figure out where the big ones are. Maybe I need to go run.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.